I'm supposed to help you travel the 2026 FIFA World Cup, but I know many of you are fans of clubs. So here's some information about the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Dímelo, mi gente, travel football fan here. I'm helping fans save money and travel the 2026 FIFA World Cup and now the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. So, I know many of you want to go to this competition. Personally, I might go catch a game at Audi Field. That's right. DC is one of the host venues for this tournament. We'll get to those cities in a minute. But let's figure out the ways where you can go ahead, still save money for this tournament, still keep a huge amount of money in your savings, ready to purchase those tickets for the World Cup, and potentially earn some travel points and miles from your FIFA Club World Cup travels that then you can use to book travel for the 2026 World Cup. All right, so let's take a look at the host stadiums that will be hosting this tournament for the FIFA Club World Cup in 2025. We're going to start off with MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. They're going to host the final of this tournament. That is for July 13th, 2025. And as of the making of this video on October 1st, 2024, it's practically the only game you can book your travel for. Granted, you still don't have access to tickets. All right, going down the list. We have TQL Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia, Geodis Park in Nashville, Audi Field in DC, Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Inter Stadium, Orlando, Camping World Stadium in Orlando. So Orlando gets two venues to host for this tournament. Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida, and then two West Coast stadiums. Lumen Field in Seattle, of course, because the Sounders were entered into this competition as CONCACAF Champions Cup winners. And finally, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Now, the inclusion of 12 stadiums was a surprise, considering that reports from The Guardian had indicated that only 8 stadiums were going to be used for this tournament. So it looks like those Italian reports that came in 24 hours before the reveal were indeed true. Another surprise was the fact that Orlando has 2 stadiums that are hosting matches here. And really, from a tourism standpoint, I can see why, because Orlando, Mickey Mouse, Universal Studios, plenty of hotels, the tourism infrastructure is there. But this tournament is also going to be played in the summer, and you're going to be competing against families and their kids. So that was a bit of a surprise as well. And then what was not a surprise was that all of these games, again, except for Seattle because of the Sounders, the Rose Bowl, maybe because of some of the Middle East and Asian teams, maybe that wasn't too much of a surprise because you're trying to convince the top European clubs to participate in this tournament. So they had to pick all those cities on the East Coast. Could they have picked Columbus over Cincinnati? Sure. Why was Nashville picked? Why was Charlotte picked? All we have to do is just follow the map. All of these cities are within at most 2 hours flight from each other. Speaking of those flights, here are the airport codes that you're going to need if indeed you're going to be traveling by plane to these matches with the Club World Cup. Okay, pay attention to some of these cities. Orlando is Mike, Charlie, Oscar. Nashville is Bravo, November, Alpha. Cincinnati is Charlie, Victor, Golf. Don't just type in the city name and expect the destination that pops up in the screen in front of you to be the actual city where you're flying to. You have to use the correct airport codes. Okay, what about tickets? Sadly, we don't have any information on that as of October 1st. Okay, this is a brand new tournament. There's no previous tournaments here that I can research in terms of their sales windows for this brand new 32 team Club World Cup. Okay, having said that, there has been a lot of smoke that the draw for this tournament for the Club World Cup will happen in December of 2024. I've heard dates ranging from the 5th of December to the 9th of December. I've heard the 12th. I've heard the 14th. So there's multiple dates flying around right now. One would assume, okay, that once we have the draw, because by that point, we will know the final 2 spots from one from South America and one from the host nation, Miami. We will know all of the 32 teams, and thus we will be able to then begin the sale of the tickets. My prediction, January of 2025. Now, if you're going to be traveling for this tournament, there are two money strategies that you should consider as we also think about the 2026 World Cup. The first one is you're going to use this tournament to spend money to earn travel points and miles that then you will use those travel points and miles to book for 2026 World Cup travel. That makes sense if you're looking to do a lot of travel for the 2026 World Cup. You're going to need a lot of airline points, hotel points, Amtrak points, etc. And so what you're going to do is that you're going to make sure that you're signed up for all of the travel loyalty programs that you're going to use in the summer of 2025, and make sure you're collecting those points. Heck, you can start collecting those points today too. You don't have to wait until you're traveling next summer. Start collecting those points right now, and you go from there. Of course, you should always be saving money right now in a high yield savings account, whether you're going to use money at the Club World Cup or at the World Cup. Regardless, it's a good idea to get in the habit of saving money in these high yield savings accounts. So in that way, your money generates a little bit more income passively, right? While you're pretty much, sitting at the couch while you're watching this video. Now, the other strategy, of course, is you use your travel points and miles right now to book your travel for the 2025 Club World Cup, and then you're just going to use cash for the 2026 World Cup. This strategy works better for those people that are just more passionate about their clubs. They're Madristas. They're, for Porto, for the Sounders, for River Plate. If you're going to want to ball out for the Club World Cup, then use your travel points and miles to save money for travel for 2025. And then you only want to go to a game or two at the World Cup, maybe only in your own city. You're not really looking to travel this immense, 3-country tournament in 2026. Then you could just use your money to buy the tickets, and, you're not really doing a lot of traveling. And there you pretty much have saved yourself money in 2025 and still have not have spent as much money in 2026. So, for example, I can earn Amtrak points by basically traveling from here in DC, right? Say I go to a match at Audi Field, and then the next day there's a match in Philadelphia. I could take the train to Philadelphia. And then if I want to go the next day after that to Newark or East Rutherford, New Jersey, then I take the Amtrak from Philly to Newark Station, get to East Rutherford, New Jersey. I'm earning Amtrak points this entire journey, right? Round trip. And then, of course, any points that I would earn at the hotels that I would stay at. Alternatively, I would also be earning any Alaska Airlines miles that I would be earning if I decide to fly to Seattle to go see the Sounders play at Lumen Field. Now, once the schedule drops for this tournament, and once the Club World Cup draw happens, right, once we know where all the teams are playing, on what day and what city, you should be ready to book your travel immediately, because as of right now, October, I can book my travel for the Club World Cup final at MetLife. Right now, I could book the hotel and, make it a refundable rate, so that way you get your money back in case you don't get tickets for that. But I can at least book that hotel room. I might not book with Amtrak just yet, but that's what you can do. So make sure that you take the time between now and December to start figuring out what your plans are going to be for this tournament. What's your travel expectations? Do you have any travel points and miles? Can you start collecting travel points and miles now? How much money do you have? Do you have to start saving money in a high yield savings account? Get your financial ducks in a row right now. So in that way, when December comes around, when that draw drops, the schedule will probably drop, if not earlier, right in December as well. You are ready to A, purchase your tickets, B, book your travel within the span of 24 to 48 hours, because that demand for these games will be there. It might not be as high as the World Cup in 26, but this is going to serve as a very valuable test run for how the logistics of traveling across the United States will be. Granted, this is mostly an East Coast tournament, but nonetheless, you have Seattle and LA involved. And in general, what is your financial strategy going to be? So it's going to help, kind of reveal a lot of learning lessons for us as we get ready for 2026. Bueno, mi gente, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel. We're almost at 500 subscribers. that's going to be the first milestone that we need to hit. And then, we got a whole bunch of watching hours to do. I promise I'll be uploading more videos more consistently. It's just been a really busy time for me. As you know, I do work in election protection. So, it's going to get busy in the next couple of weeks. But I will try to keep up with all the news related to the FIFA Club World Cup, the 2026 World Cup, and there is the Gold Cup too, but that tournament kind of became irrelevant because there will no longer be a 2014 format. We can talk about that in another video if you like. So go ahead, drop in the comments if you want me to talk about more about the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Thank you so much, mi gente. This is Travel Football Fan. Hasta la próxima.